Blog Talk Radio.
You are tuned into With the Contest Queen, where the winning begins with myself, Carolyn Wellman. It's Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014, and I have Richard Lustig, author of Increase Your Chances of Winning the Lottery, is my guest today. And before we talk to Richard, let me tell you about what we are giving away on this episode. Can't have a show about winning without prizes. For this show, Richard has generously donated a copy of his book, but you have to stay tuned because we won't tell you how you can begin to win until the end of the show. And remember, all the URLs we talk about on the show today will be included in the next issue of The Winning Edge, which will be going out tomorrow, so make sure you sign up if you're already not a subscriber. Let me tell you a little bit about Richard. He's got the shortest and most awesome bio of any guest that I've ever had in the show. He is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner, and he's been featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not. Welcome, Richard.
Well, hello, Carolyn. How are you today?
Pretty good. Feeling lucky, especially talking to you.
Well, as I talk about in my book and whenever I do these interviews, that's one of the things that I tell people is I don't believe in luck. Luck has nothing to do with this. People who rely on luck are fooling themselves. There is, like you said when you introduced me, I'm the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. And that's not because of luck. That's because I'm also the first person that's actually created a method that works.
Okay, so how did you get started? So tell us, how did you get started? Like, you didn't come up with the method overnight, so you must have started somewhere. So how did you start on this path to winning?
Oh, yeah, it took years. It took years to develop it. I started when the lottery came to Florida. And like everybody else, I went, oh, boy, the lottery, buy lottery tickets, win lots of money, retire rich and everything. So like everybody else, I was running out there and buying tickets left and right. And unfortunately, also like everybody else, I was losing 99% of the time. So I sat back and said to myself, there's got to be something you can do to give yourself a better chance to win, because this is ridiculous. I'm throwing my money down the drain. So I took out a pad and a pen and I started writing down some ideas. And I tried some of these ideas, and of course some of them didn't work, so I threw those out the window. But some of them did work. And so I said, okay, let me see what other stuff I can come up with, what other ideas I can come up with. And as I kept adding the things that worked together and applying them at the same time and adding more and more things that worked, eventually I developed, which I didn't know at the time, was the beginnings of my method. And I started to win. And not win grand prizes or anything yet, but I was winning more than I was losing. I'd be $50, $500, $5,000. So I said, okay, this is cool. This is much better than the way it was before, where I was losing almost the whole time. So I kept on doing that. I kept on thinking of what else could I do? Could I do this? Could I do that? Blah 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 blah. Until I won my first grand prize. And I got to be honest, when I won my first grand prize, I felt like everybody else did, that, wow, I'm a lucky guy. I won a lottery grand prize. But then I won my second and then my third. So it was when I won my fourth lottery game grand prize that the light came on in my head, and I said, okay, I don't even know anybody that's ever even won one time. I've won 4 times. So this isn't luck. This is what I've been doing works. This is a method. I've got a method that actually works. And nobody believed me. Everybody kept saying, you're just really lucky, and there's no such thing as having a method. And I kept saying to them, how can you say that? I've won 4 lottery game grand prizes. How can you say that that's just luck? But when I won my 5th lottery game grand prize, that's when everything really started to change, because now people were saying, okay, nobody can be that lucky to win 5 lottery game grand prizes. So the big question I kept getting all the time was, what's your secret? They wanted to know what I was doing to win. And, then I won my 6th and my 7th, and, here we are today. I've got a best-selling book, and, we're rocking and rolling.
Well, I just find it interesting that it took to 5 before people said, what's your secret?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, too, because, even, like I said, at 4, it took till 4 for me to finally realize that it wasn't luck, that I had actually a method, but it took most people till 5. And so when they started saying, what's your secret, I would tell them. I'd say, well, I do this and I don't do this. And I did that for a short time. And then again, I said to myself, wait a minute, this has taken me years to get to this point, and a lot of losing, making, wrong mistakes and doing things the wrong way. Why should I just tell people? Why should I just give this away? So I sat down at my computer and I typed out everything that I do that was making it work. And, I'd run maybe, a half a dozen copies off on my printer, and I'd keep them with me. And because when I would go to the store in the mornings, there'd be, whether it be the store, the bank, or the post office, I was sort of becoming a local celebrity now, because, the media had touched on interviewing me because I'd won 5 times, everything. And so when they would ask me, what's your secret, now I was saying to them, well, I'll tell you what, I've got this report that I've written up. It tells what I do, what to do and what not to do. And if you'd like a copy of it, I'll sell it to you for $30. And to be honest, Carolyn, I really didn't think anybody was going to pay me for it. I figured they'd say, yeah, right, I'm going to give you $30. You're crazy, But, yeah, people were just like, oh yeah, I'll buy it, and hand me the $30. And like I said, I'd have a half a dozen copies on me, and each morning I'd sell all 6 copies that I had with me. And so the next day I'd print up 6 more, and I'd go around, I'd do my errands, and I'd sell them. And it finally started getting to a point where I was having to go to a printer and have like 100 of them printed up at a time because they were selling so fast. And then when I won number 6, and I'm selling so many copies of this just typed up report, of what I did, my son said to me, Dad, you're missing the boat. And I said, what do you mean, Nick? He said, you need to write a book. And I go like, write a book? Nick, I'm not an author. I can't write a book. And he said, I'm telling you, it will sell. Look at your report. Look at how many people are buying that report. If you write a book, it would sell. So he kept bugging me till finally one day I sat down and I took out the report, which by that point now was about maybe a year or 2 old, and I had already added more stuff to my method that wasn't even in that report. And I looked at the report and I said, well, I can explain this a lot better and make this easier to understand and whatever. So by the time I got done, I realized that I did have enough material for a book. So I went and got a book deal, and my wife's sister is a professional graphic artist, so she helped design the book and the cover and this and that, and we all got together and everybody's working on it. We're correcting all the typos and the grammar mistakes and this and that, and we finally we're ready the book is at the publishers, and they're going to take it to the printer, and they're going to start running the copies of my book off. Well, this was on a Monday, and they told me, okay, so Tuesday, we're going to take your book and we're going to take it to the printer. We're going to start printing the book. And lo and behold, Carolyn, that Monday night, I won number 7. It was like, I couldn't believe it. So I called the author, and the publisher, and I said, did you take the book to the printer yet? And I said, no. I said, well, hold off, don't do it. He said, what's the matter? Did you change your mind? I said, no. I said, you're not going to believe it. See, on the front of the book, we had on there written by 6-time lottery game grand prize winner.
Oh,
and I said,
you have to.
yeah, I said, you aren't going to believe this, but last night I won number 7. And my publisher was saying, oh, come on, you're joking. I said, no, I'm serious. So our team, we talked about it. We decided instead of changing it to 7, written by 7-time lottery game grand prize winner, we decided to put an X through the 6 and write the word 7 above it, and that's how it went to press.
That's funny. That's a great story. You can't make this stuff up.
Oh no, it's real. I tell people all the time that there's still people that doubt, and there's always going to be people who are skeptic. Through the history of man, anytime anybody has ever claimed that they can do something, or they've invented a method or whatever to do something that no one else has ever done before, there's always people out there that say, yeah, right, there's not, no way, whatever. In fact, 2 men many years ago told the world that they had invented a method to do something that no man had ever done before. And most of the people in the world were telling them they were crazy, they were nuts, there's no way. And the most repeated comment that they would get was, if man was meant to fly, God would have given him wings. Well, the Wright brothers proved the world wrong, didn't they? So
yeah, they sure did.
Yes, they did. So that's what I've done. I'm proving the world wrong. You can win 7 lottery game grand prizes, even though there's people out there that still don't believe it. I've done it. All my wins are registered and recorded with the state of Florida lottery. In fact, not only have I won 7 lottery game grand prizes, but in Florida, if you have a winning ticket that's less than $600, you can go to any store that sells lottery tickets and they'll cash it for you. But if it's $600 or more, you have to take that ticket to a lottery office to cash it in. And Carolyn,
Correct.
I have been to the Florida lottery offices an amazing 23 times with winning tickets that were too large for the local merchants to pay.
Wow. Now here's a question. You live in Florida, so obviously you're playing the Florida lottery. But when you travel out of state or out of country, do you play the local lotteries for wherever you are?
No, because
okay.
I mean, I may for fun. I may just buy a ticket for fun, but I can't apply my method because my method isn't something you just do one time and. I get people all the time. I'll get people who send me emails. Can't you just help me out and give me the 6 numbers to play for this Saturday night's lottery? It doesn't work that way. There is a plan. It's a plan, and you have to follow the plan. And you don't need a big budget. My method works whether you got a budget of $10 or $10,000. But it's a method that you have to follow. You can't just. So when I go out of town, I may just for the fun of it buy a couple tickets here or there or whatever, but it has nothing to do with my method because you can't. You have to be there on a regular basis. Now my method works with any kind of lottery game in any state in the United States and actually in any country in the world. It'll work with any lottery system anywhere in the world. I have people from Australia, Canada, the UK, South Africa, Germany, Italy, France. All over the world, people are buying my book. And it works in other countries, but you have to follow the method. It's not going to happen overnight.
Okay, so it's kind of like sweepstaking in the sense because there's a method to it and you have to do it consistently. In order to see, because I get people telling me, well, I entered 3, I didn't win. And I'm like, well, it's like trying to lose 20 pounds and saying, well, I went to the gym 3 times. How come I didn't lose my 20 pounds?
Exactly. You're exactly right.
So
it's just like entering.
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Just like you said, we're entering sweepstakes and stuff. You know, you can't just send in one or two entries and think that you're going to have a chance to win. I mean, you do have a chance to win because if you didn't send in any entries, you would not have a chance. But obviously, common sense is going to tell you if you buy 100 tickets, you're going to have a better chance than the guy who only buys 10 tickets. Or if you enter a sweepstakes 100 times, you're going to have a better chance than the guy who only enters it 10 times.
Right. So it's very similar in the sense that it's a numbers game.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is a numbers game, yes.
Well, one of the things that I know that I get a lot, because whenever it comes to money, there's always someone trying to pull a scam. So I consistently get questions about how to avoid sweepstakes scams. And I even have a section in my book on it, and I have a whole section on my website on resources of how to report any scams you find, because the more of us that get together and help prevent fraud, the harder it is for these guys to do it.
Right.
So obviously with lotteries, opportunity for scams. How can people avoid lottery scams?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're bringing that subject up. A lot of interviewers don't bring it up, and I try to explain that to people. There's a bunch of different types of lottery scams going on out there, and unfortunately, what they do is they usually prey on the elderly, and it's a shame. So I tell people, you know, if you've got elderly parents or elderly grandparents, look out for them, look after them, make sure that they don't go and get caught up in these scams. I mean, there's different things, like some of these, you'll get a letter in either an email or a letter in the mail or whatever, and it'll say, you've won the ABC lottery, First of all, if you get any kind of a communication whatsoever, phone call, email, regular mail, whatever, saying that you won a lottery and you never entered that lottery, right away, that's a scam. You can't win a lottery unless you enter it. It's simple as that. Correct. So if you get contacted by somebody saying you won a lottery that you never heard of and never entered, that's a scam. One of the things that they'll do is they'll say, now, in order to collect your winnings, all you have to do is pay the taxes and the transfer fees of whatever it is, the amount that they say, send that in, and then we can send you your grand prize of $1 million or whatever. Again, no legitimate lottery asks you to pay up front. If there are taxes to be paid on your grand prize, because like for instance in Canada, they don't pay taxes on their lotteries. Okay?
No,
in the United States,
have to go to the lottery office just like you.
Right.
You have to go somewhere legitimate to collect a prize.
Right. But in Canada you don't pay taxes. In the United States you do. So they'll say, so if you'll send in the taxes on this prize, then we can send you your prize. And again, that's a big warning. No legitimate lottery will ask you to pay your taxes up front. When you go in to collect your lottery, they show you how much you won, and then they take the taxes out right there, and then they give you your rest of your money. So that's another thing. Another one, another scam where they'll send you a letter, you've won $5 million in this ABC lottery, blah, 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 blah. All you got to do is fill out this form and send it back to us, and we can send you your money. And they want to know your name, your address, your Social Security number, your bank number so they can send you the money, your account number, whatever. That is a big scam also. Don't ever give people that you don't know, or a sweepstakes or a lottery that you've never heard of. Don't ever give those people your banking information and your Social Security number, whatever. Once they get that, they clean your accounts out. And next thing you know, you're broke.
When you win a legitimate sweepstakes, you don't have to. The only thing you have to give is a Social Security number in the United States, and it's to a legitimate firm which you can research in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that it's, and you'll remember, usually I tell people, if you win something, you usually remember entering. When somebody calls you, and says, hey, you
exactly.
want a trip from the XYZ company sweepstakes, you go, oh my gosh, I remember entering that one. It's a big beer company or a big soda pop company or a big food company.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember it, and you can research, you can Google it. There'll be posts about the contest in the past. So yeah, if you can do any internet searches to check out any firms if you're not sure.
It's just like it's just like there are other people that are selling lottery books, CDs, whatever, talking about their lottery system and guaranteeing that you'll win 80% of the time or whatever, blah 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 blah. I tell people, first of all, nobody can guarantee you that at all. I don't ever guarantee people that they will win a grand prize. You can't. There's no way to guarantee that, okay? What I do is I tell people, if you buy my book and you follow my method, you will learn how to increase your chances of winning. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but I can teach you how to play smart instead of play with greed, because most people play with greed. And I tell people, play smart, and you have a better chance of winning. But what kills me is there's people out there that are selling these so-called lottery systems or whatever, claiming that if you buy their book or whatever, that you'll win the lottery. And if you take the time to research these people, because I have done so, you will find out that the people selling these lottery systems or whatever, they've never even won one lottery game grand prize, not even one. So how can they be selling you a book telling you how to win if they've never won? So I tell people, research these people. I want people to research me, because when they do, they're shocked. Because they see, wow, this guy really has won 7 lottery game grand prizes. Everything he said is the truth. Because I'm very, very careful about that. Everything that I say is 100% the truth. You can check me out with the Florida Lottery. Go on their website. It takes a little research and time, but you can find my wins on there. Contact the Florida Lottery. They know me very well. They know who I am.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh yeah, they do. But there's a guy at the local lottery office here in Orlando that every time I come walking into the office, he says, "Richard, you're back again. How much did you win this time?"
Yeah, he doesn't even question you're there. So it's like buying a cookbook from a guy who's never cooked in his life. You want to buy one from a chef who maybe has owned a restaurant and been on a TV show before you buy a cookbook.
And there you go too. And there you go too. If you check those people out, they've never been on any kind of TV shows. Why not? If they've won so many lotteries over. I've been on, I don't know, Good Morning America 6 or 8 times now. I've been on Fox and Friends a half a dozen times, the Today Show, the Rachel Ray Show, MSNBC. I mean, anytime there's a lottery story or a big jackpot at stake or whatever, all the major networks call me, and they want me on the shows to talk about it. So they'll do it here locally at a local affiliate, we'll do it live via satellite, or they fly me up to New York to be on the show. I just came back last weekend. I was in California to tape a show for the History Channel called the Human Calculator, and so I get these kinds of things all the time. And these people
what?
Yeah.
We're down to 6.5 minutes. So listen,
oh my goodness,
I want to make sure. We want to get your website out. By chance, are your videos on your site?
Yes.
Where you've been?
The shows that I've been on. Yes, the website is winninglotterymethod.com.
Great. So people can go to winninglotterymethod.com, and I will post it on my social media channels and in my newsletter for those who want to go check them out, because then you can actually see all these shows he's been on, because we don't have to list them all. But before we go and give away your book, I want to say, what is your number one tip for winning? Because mine is always read the rules. So there's got to be one massive tip that you always give people for lottery.
Yes. Set a budget. Don't get caught up in lottery fever. Don't spend more money than you can afford to spend. Don't spend grocery money. Don't spend rent money. Figure out what you can afford and stay within your budget. Because you hear sorry stories all the time about people that lost everything playing too much money, more than they can afford. So set a budget. That's my number one tip.
Oh my God, that's such a good tip. I never even thought of that.
Yep.
Now, do you have a preference for the numbered games? I don't even know the proper term for them versus the scratchers.
If people are on a limited budget, and if they are, there's nothing to be ashamed of. The economy is in horrible shape, and a lot of people are. If you are in a situation where you have a limited budget, you can only afford to play like one game or whatever, I say play the ball games over the scratch games. The ball games, even though if you look at the odds, it appears that scratch tickets have better chances of winning, but they don't, because the tickets are spread all over your state. So you have no guarantee that one of those winning grand prize tickets will even end up in your city, let alone the store where you buy your tickets. But ball games are good anywhere. It doesn't matter where you buy them. Everybody has an equal chance. So, and don't go for the big Powerball and Mega Ball. Go for your local state games. They have lesser grand prizes, but they're easier to win. Everybody wants to win $40 million. But if you won only $100,000 tonight, would that not change your life? Of course it would.
Oh, so is that why you haven't won a prize that's like $40 million? Because you're smart and you play the local ones, so your odds of winning are increased. And it's better to win 7 smaller grand prizes than it is to win nothing.
Yep, my biggest prize was $842,000, and I have people who have bought my book and followed my method and have won more money than I've won. I have a couple that won.
Because I have the exact same thing.
Yeah, I have a couple that won $2 million in Tampa. I have a couple in Iowa that followed my method and won $9 million.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, okay. Now I'm gonna have to get your book, because I have people that follow my method, and because I don't have time to enter every day now. They're winning more than I am, but it's, you know what? It's all about, you and I have the same passion. We love sharing our excitement and our fun, and that's why we wrote our books, and that's why we like to share and pass on the winning fever, so to speak, and love. I know you're like me. When people call you and say, "Oh my God, I won $9 million," you love it.
Oh, I do. So, absolutely. I love to hear from winners.
Okay, and again, I'll give the website one more time. It's winninglotterymethod.com. Now, if you want to win a copy of his book, increase your chances of winning the lottery. I love it, because it is so true. You're not guaranteeing anything to win. You're telling them how to increase their chances of winning the lottery.
Right. The book is officially called Learn How to Increase Your Chances of Winning the Lottery.
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay.
I wrote the title wrong.
Yeah, Learn How to Increase Your Chances of Winning the Lottery. Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to send, if somebody would like to win, they've got until, I'm going to take entries up until Sunday, November 9th at midnight, 2014, technically.
Okay.
Sweepstakes rules is 11:59:59.
Yep.
On Sunday, November 9th. And they have to send an email to enterme@contestqueen.com, and that's ENTERME @contestqueen.com, and the subject is lottery. So, I want to thank Richard for being my special guest today. Remember to check out his website, winninglotterymethod.com, for new opportunities to win. Thank you for tuning in to With the Contest Queen, where the winning begins. Thanks, Richard.
Okay, thanks, Carolyn.